My name is Gary Parker. I'm the Managing Director of CNT Associates, and we are a business support and fundraising organisation based at the Engine House in Erith, in the London Borough of Bexley. This webinar is part of the Bexley Business and Employment Programme, but of course it's applicable to any business. I'll give some details later about how, if you're a Bexley-based business and are not part of that program, you can join it and get some free support. I'll mention that at the end. I'd also like to introduce my colleague Sybil Mayard. This is going to be a joint presentation between the two of us. I'm going to do the introduction, and Sybil is going to do the more technical the more technical aspects of this. Sybil, do you just want to introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Sybil. I'm running a business called Sybil Tech. I've been working in partnership with CNT for a while now, and I take care of the technical side. I provide website development services, such as developing and designing websites, and also website maintenance. So whether you have an existing website and you want to improve on it, or you don't have an online presence yet and you want to build one, then I can support you with that.
Okay, thank you, Sybil. We're going to start the presentation now. This will take about 45 to 50 minutes, and Sybil is going to operate this. So we're just loading it up. Here is the first slide. And there is the Bexley Council link, which I will talk a bit more about later at the end of the presentation. So you can go on to the first slide. This is about setting up an online store using Shopify. And this is Sybil and myself. I'm an honours graduate, and Sybil's got a postgraduate qualification in computer science. So next slide, please. Here are some of the key websites. Shopify is an online store application, and there is the website, but there's also a number of subsidiary websites, because Shopify is the biggest online store application in the world, and they have a number of subsidiary sites. Here are some of them. Introduction to Shopify, which will explain the background in a similar way that we're going to do this morning. There's an app store, because you can use by a lot of apps that can enhance your apps, your Shopify site if you need to. There's also a theme store, because there's a range of themes that you can access and address through Shopify. A help center as well, and there's also a site on what is called drop shipping, which is a way of accessing and selling products online while managing your stock cost and outlay. And finally, there's the Shopify community, which is a user group for people that use Shopify, and you can talk to other users and get information, tips and advice from them via that. So there's quite a lot involved in this, and this first webinar, because this is an introduction, there was actually a second one that we do as a pay webinar, which is a live demonstration online of how Shopify works, but more details on that later. But if you can move to the next slide, please, Sybil. Here are some other e-commerce sites, because Shopify is certainly not the only one, either internationally or indeed in the UK. For example, there's EKM, which some of you might have heard of. The costs are lesser on some of these sites, but the support is not as significant as you can get through Shopify and some other sites. Another one that you will have heard of is Wix, Wix.com, who of course provide a range of online services. WooCommerce, which is a WordPress plugin, and finally another one you will have heard of, Squarespace. So you can access services around e-commerce and online stores through some of those as well. Shopify is certainly not the only one. Although I should say as well that C&T Associates is a Shopify partner, and it's something we're very familiar with here. We're less familiar with the other e-commerce sites. If you can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. What is Shopify? We'll start at the beginning. It's a complete e-commerce platform. It's an online store that lets you start, grow, and manage a business. And you can create and customize your own online store. There's been a lot of adverts for Shopify online recently, and they're trying to really streamline the process to make it easy as possible to get online and start a business. The other thing that they're doing currently, or enables you to do, is to sell in multiple places, including obviously on the web, but also on your mobile, on social media, online marketplaces, and of course other locations, other bricks and mortar locations, shops and pop-up shops. So you can use it in a wide range of locations. Next slide, please, Sybil. How does Shopify work? It's completely cloud-based and hosted. You don't have to worry about upgrading or maintaining software or web servers. And it gives you the flexibility to access and run your business from anywhere, really, as long as you can get an internet connection. What do you need to get started? You need to have a plan, and we're going to look at some of those shortly, and the costs. And of course, you have to have products or indeed services to sell. If you don't have any products, you might want to try drop shipping, which is accessing products often direct from suppliers. What I would suggest, if you're interested in that, is there was on one of the first slides, there was a drop shipping link. You look at that, because that explains it in detail. Next slide, please, Sybil. Benefits and background of this. Shopify provides you with a variety of tools to help you set up and run your business. It does depend on which pricing plan you choose, and indeed the size of your business, whether you're large or small, is something that can be accommodated by Shopify. And you can find everything you need to showcase your products online, to process payments, and make the store work for you. Shopify also offer free and paid themes from the Shopify Theme Store, so you can focus it and brand it and make your store stand out and look great using these themes from the Shopify Theme Store. And there's also a wide range of free and paid apps from the Shopify App Store to expand the functionality of your store. Sybil will explain some detail about some of these issues shortly. And Shopify have their own payment provider to accept credit and debit card payments. So again, it's a very, very comprehensive in terms of support and tools that you can access. Next slide, please, Sybil. You also have growth opportunities with Shopify's sales channels, and you can access guides and articles about running your store and connecting with your customers. And of course, there's the Shopify community as well that you can do. They also have a dedicated support team available 24/7 to answer questions, no matter which Shopify plan that you're on. Many large companies also use Shopify, and here are just some of the big brands that use it: Budweiser, Tesla, Cambridge Satchel Company, and then you've got a lot of musicians and others who use Shopify as part of their brand and to sell branded goods, like Lady Gaga, Drake, and Adele, who use Shopify to as part of developing their own personal brands. Next slide, please, Sybil. Here are a few benefits of Shopify. It's quick and easy to set up and use, meaning very little technical skill is required. And if you need any support locally, of course, we are here and able to provide that as well. It's secure and reliable. It's easy to use straight from a mobile phone, and it's highly customizable. And there is an extensive range of apps, which I've just mentioned. It also has a brilliant search engine optimization and marketing tools, which again is quite a significant benefit. Next slide, please, Sybil. There are three main pricing plans. The basic Shopify is $29 US a month. The median Shopify is $79 per month, and then the advanced Shopify, which is for usually for larger organizations, is $299 US a month. There's also Shopify Lite, so whether you're on WordPress, Squarespace, Tumblr, or anywhere else, you can add products to your website or blog with buy buttons. So you can plug into that, and it accepts credit card payments. And that Shopify Lite, it doesn't have a lot of the facilities that the other plans have, but that's only $9 a month. If you want more information about Shopify Lite, there is a link there that you can access and copy. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and we'll take questions later, but I'm now going to hand over to Sybil, who will talk in more detail about some of the issues that I've just highlighted. So over to you, Sybil.
Thank you very much, Gary. So I'm going to present the main part of this webinar. So we'll first talk about the initial setup of a Shopify account. So the great thing about Shopify is that they do offer you a free 14-day trial. So you can try out the platform for 2 weeks without any obligation. And if you decide for any reason that Shopify isn't for you, then you can simply cancel the trial before it ends and you won't be charged anything. So in order to start your trial, you would go to the link there, shopify.co.uk, and there'll be a green button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you click Get Started, then you'll be taken to the screen as shown on the page here, where you'll have a few details to fill in, such as your email address, your password, and your store name. So your store name does form part of your .myshopify.com URL. So make sure that you type in your store name correctly, and it also needs to be unique. If it's not unique, then you'll be prompted to enter a different store name. And also your .myshopify.com URL cannot be changed later on. So make sure you do enter the correct name here. Even though you can't change this URL, you can have the ability to connect a custom domain and we'll talk a bit more about that later on. So once you've filled out these 3 fields, you will click the Create Your Store button as shown here. Then after you've done that, you'll be asked a few questions about yourself and your business. And don't worry too much about this, but if you are just starting out, the first question, which asks, are you already selling? You can select, I'm just playing around, if you want to just explore the platform. And there's some other questions here about whether you want to explore drop shipping, where else you would like to sell online, what is your current revenue. Now, if you're just starting out, you can select 0 GBP. Then it asks you which industry you'll be operating in, so you can select your industry or select I haven't decided yet if you're not sure. When you've done that, click the next button. Then this is the final step of the form that you need to fill in. So here you can enter your business address and phone number. And also you can change this later on if you do make a mistake here. So not too important. Then once you've filled in these details, click the Enter My Store button at the bottom there. So once you have done that, you'll be taken to the Shopify admin screen. So from here, you'll be ready to start customizing your store, setting up payments and shipping options, and uploading your products and much more. So from here, you can access all the different areas of the store, including orders, customers, analytics, and so on. So one of the first things you might want to think about is setting up a theme for your store. So as we mentioned earlier, Shopify does have its own theme store, and here is the link, themes.shopify.com. And Shopify offers a range of both free and paid themes. So you have a lot of choice and many different themes to choose from. So when you go onto the theme store, you'll be able to see for each theme, there'll be the features of what the theme is offering, any reviews that customers have left, and you can see live demos. So you'll be able to see what the theme looks like before adding it to your store. And I highly recommend to read through the reviews before making any purchases, and also really carefully reading the features to make sure that the theme offers everything you need. Once you've chosen a theme, you can add it to your store, and you will be able to try it out for free. So even if you choose a paid theme, you can try out the theme for free on your store before you decide to purchase it. And when looking for a theme, this is what's really going to determine the look and feel of your store. So choose one that's going to be suitable for your branding, because this is the first thing that people are going to notice when they go into your store. So the theme is what's going to really make it stand out. And the main differences between the free and paid themes is the number of settings and customizations you can make. So with the paid themes, you have a lot more options. You're able to make more customizations, but you can still achieve a great looking store even with a free theme. And one more thing I want to note here is that all of these customizations we're talking about, you can make all of them without having to touch a line of code. So you don't need to know any coding at all. It's a very simple process of going into the theme editor dragging and dropping the sections that you want to put into your pages, and then it's simply choosing the options with things like fonts, images, and colors, and so on. So everything is really user-friendly and no need to have coding knowledge. And so here's some more information about the Shopify Theme Store. All of the themes on the theme store are guaranteed to have full support from the designers, so you know that your store is in good hands. All themes come with a list of modifications that you can make, as we've just talked about. And finally, if you want to make changes to the theme, there are very few limitations you can make by accessing the HTML and CSS code. So as I said, you can make a lot of customizations without having to know coding at all. However, if you do want to make some advanced customizations, then that's where you might need to make changes to code. But if you need to do that, don't worry, because we have the expertise and skills to help you make these advanced customizations to your site. So after you've chosen a theme, then you'll be thinking about adding products to your store. So with Shopify, there's no limit on the number of products you can add, and it allows you to sell a variety of different types of products. So you can sell physical goods, digital downloads, services, and gift cards. When you're adding your products, you need to enter as much detail as you can about your products, especially those that will help with SEO. So make sure you enter a readable title, make sure the description is has all the details, and make sure it's the URL or handle has the name of the product in it. If applicable, then create the variants for your product. So variants are different options. For example, if you're selling a t-shirt, it might be available in different sizes and different colors, but they're all different variations of the same t-shirt. And these variations are called variants. Next, for your product images, these are very important because the images can make a sale. So make sure you show off your products to their best and highlight any special or unique features with close-up photos. And just to add here, make sure you use high quality images as well, so your store looks professional and also your customers are able to see all the details of your products. Then to keep your store looking tidy, we suggest that you keep all the images the same dimensions, so they'll all be looking very neat and lined up on the storefront. Once the images are uploaded, you can rearrange the order of them. So you can choose which photo you want to be as the main image, and then you can add and rearrange the order they're displayed in. Next, we'll talk about collections. So a collection is a group of products that have some features in common that customers might be looking for when visiting your store. So for example, your customers might be shopping for clothes specifically for women, men, or children, items of a certain type, size, or color, sale items or seasonal products, for example, holiday cards and decorations. So each product can be in one or more collections, And usually you would want to display your collections on your home page, and you can also add them into the navigation bar so customers can easily find them. And collections can be created manually or automatically. So what does this mean? A manual collection is where you would add the products to the collection yourself. An automatic collection is one that is based on a rule. So you might set up a rule that says any product that is below £10 will be automatically added to this collection. Or it can be products of a certain, tagged with a certain category, for example. Okay, so let's talk about discounts. So offering discounts can be a powerful marketing strategy for your Shopify store. And there are two types of discount. You have a discount code. So this is where the customer will manually enter a code. Then you have an automatic discount. This is one that's applied automatically at the cart or the checkout stage. And there are different formats, such as fixed value, for example, £10 off. There's percentage, and then there is buy X, get Y. So this could be buy one, get one at half price, for example. And you can apply the discounts to specific products, to specific variants, or to whole collections. Then there are some options here. You can specify the number of times the discount can be used. You can choose a start date and expiry date. You can choose the discount to apply to only certain customers, and you can set a minimum order value. But those four last points there are optional, so you don't have to set them if you don't need to. So let's talk about shipping. So with Shopify, you are able to choose from a variety of shipping rates and methods to appear as options for your customers, or you can just keep it simple and provide a single option. So you are able to offer flat rates. So this would be one single cost regardless of how much the customer is ordering and which products they're buying. You can offer price-based rates. So for example, you might want to offer free delivery if the customer orders over a certain amount, but below that amount, they will be charged. You can offer weight-based rates. So if the customer is ordering heavier items, then they will pay a higher delivery charge. You can offer free shipping, and you can also offer local pickup. So this is like the click and collect option. Then customers can order products from your store only if the country or region where they want the order shipped to is included in one of your shipping zones. So what this means is that when you're setting up your shipping, you need to specify the zones, which are the countries or regions that you're happy to ship your products to. And if a customer is trying to order from a country that is not specified in any of your shipping zones that you've set up, then they will not be able to check out and complete their order. Configuring your taxes. So if you're running an online store, then you need to set up the taxes in the countries that you will be shipping to. If you're using Shopify POS to sell in person, then set up the tax rates that are based on your retail locations. So a quick note on Shopify POS. So this is an additional sales channel that you can use in order to sell in person. So if you're selling in a physical location, like a trade show or a pop-up store, for example, then you can use Shopify POS. You can also specify whether you will charge taxes on shipping. If you sell digital products, then you can set up the taxes that apply to these items. Then Shopify provides you with a couple of reports to help you. One is the taxes finance report. This provides a summary of the sales taxes that were applied to your sales. And there is also a sales finance report. This provides you with the information that you or your accountant will need for your sales tax returns. And just one thing to note here, that tax can be a very complicated area. So if you do need support with anything related to tax, then we would recommend speaking to an accountant, or if you're a member of the FSB, then you're able to get some advice from them as well. So let's talk about payments. So in order to take payments from your customers, then you need to set up something that's called a payment gateway. So when you're choosing a payment gateway, you need to consider things such as which card types the payment gateway will accept. So here are some common ones like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, etc. And also think about off-site checkout. So this means whether the payment gateway is going to take your customers to a separate website before it takes them back to Shopify after they've completed their order. So Shopify offers its own payment gateway, and it's called Shopify Payments. And here are the charges for those Shopify payments, and it depends on which plan you're on. So if you're on the basic Shopify plan, then the charge is 2.2% plus 20 pence per transaction. If you're on Shopify, it's 1.9% plus 20 pence, and an advanced Shopify, it's 1.6% plus 20 pence. So you can see that as you go onto a higher plan, then the Shopify payments charges do decrease. So we do recommend using this default payment option and using Shopify payments because the fees are fairly reasonable and the payment gateway is the most compatible. You do have the option to enable a third-party payment provider, and if you do this, you will also pay transaction fees in addition to the credit card rates that we mentioned above. And these transaction fees will range from 0.5% to 2%. So just something to bear in mind there if you are looking for a third-party payment gateway. So next, we'll have a look at how to add pages and blogs. So if you need to add information that doesn't change often, then to do this, you can create pages to give that content a permanent location. For example, you might want to add a page about us or a contact page. So when you're setting up your page, you can choose whether you want the page to be visible immediately, or whether you can schedule it to be visible at a later date. As well as pages, Shopify also allows you to create blogs, and publishing regular blog posts is a great way to increase customer engagement, to generate more sales and improve search engine optimization. So we highly recommend adding a blog to your site. and posting regularly. Like pages, you can also schedule blog posts. And once you have your pages and blog posts created, you can create a menu and add the pages and blogs to it. And we'll talk about how to create a menu next. And Shopify allows you to create store policies. So it's very important that you have the legal information accessible on your store. Shopify allows you to create 4 of these policies, which are refund policy, privacy policy, terms of service, and shipping policy. So Shopify does supply some templates of these, but you need to read through them very carefully and customize the text. So Shopify will provide you with the text for these, but you need to make sure if you're using these, you really customize it and make sure that the information is applicable to your business. So don't just place the templated text there without checking it and reading it through first. Customers can access these policies during checkout. So when they're on the checkout page, they can have a look at these policies at any time during the process. And you can also add them to your menu so customers can view them when navigating your store. So let's talk about how to connect a domain. So as we mentioned at the beginning, Shopify provides you with a URL which ends in .myshopify.com, and that cannot be changed. However, you can create your own custom domain and connect it to your Shopify store. So you have 2 choices here. So the first option is to buy a domain from Shopify. So if you do this, then it will be added to your store automatically. And this will save you time, especially if you don't have any knowledge about hosting a website. Typically, these domains from Shopify start from $11 per year. The alternative option is to purchase the domain from a third-party provider, for example, from GoDaddy. And these domains can be much cheaper, starting from $1.99 per year. However, the downside of doing this is that you'll have to redirect the DNS records yourself, which can be tricky. So our recommendation is to purchase the domain through Shopify, as this massively simplifies the process. And one thing to add to this is that once you have connected your domain, Shopify will provide you with a free SSL certificate within the next 48 hours. And if you're not familiar with SSL, it's a technology that helps to keep your site secure. So when customers are entering sensitive information and such as payment details on your site, you know that your customers' details are going to be kept safe. So it's very important to have SSL enabled, but the good thing is Shopify will do that for free. Shopify apps. So using Shopify out of the box provides you with all the main features you need to get started with setting up your store. However, there are times when you might need to extend the functionality of your store because you might need extra features. And to do this, you would go to the Shopify App Store, where you will find a very large range of both free and paid apps. And here is a list of some of the apps you will find on the App Store. So you have automated marketing apps, SEO and email capture. There are social media plugins, reviews, enhanced contact form builders, analytics apps, upselling and cross-selling apps, automated chat and email response, and a couple of others are invoicing apps, photo gallery apps, and there are so many more to choose from. And because you have so much choice, we have included a link to a blog post on the 26 best free Shopify apps to choose the ones that might be the best choice for your store. Then we come on to marketing your online store. So there are many benefits to having an e-commerce store, such as low barriers to entry and low cost of startup, as opposed to traditional brick and mortar stores. However, the big disadvantage to an online store is that there is a lack of footfall. So this means that your marketing activities are absolutely vital, because you can have the best and perfectly designed store, but if no one knows that it exists, then it's not going to make you any money. So you can choose from some different strategies. So when you're first starting out, you might want to begin with social media and email marketing, because these are relatively cheap and very effective methods. Then as you build up your marketing strategy, you might want to try out other methods. So these could be things like pay-per-click ads, for example, Google search ads or Instagram ads. SEO, which is search engine optimization. We've mentioned this a few times, and if you're not familiar with SEO, this is a process that you can use to optimize your website so it ranks higher in search results. So this means when people are going onto Google and searching for a particular word or phrase, then your website has a higher chance of appearing higher up in the search results. And SEO doesn't cost anything, unlike paid ads. It will only cost you if you hire someone else to do it for you. Then the other methods we have listed here are non-online marketing. There are discount and loyalty cards, referral programs, blogging, and many other techniques available to you. So we highly recommend thinking about these different types of marketing methods, researching them, experimenting, and finding out which ones work and don't work for your store, and monitoring the performance. Okay, so that concludes the main parts of this presentation. I'm now going to hand over back to Gary for the next part.
Okay, thank you for that, Sybil, which I'm sure you'll agree was a very comprehensive introductory overview to how Shopify works and the main features. If you are a Bexley-based business or registered in Bexley, we can give you some free support in a number of areas, including around Shopify as part of the program, which you have to register for. It is free, there's no charge for it, but you have to be Bexley-based or registered to do that. So if you're from Greenwich or somewhere else, you can't avail yourself of it, unfortunately. This presentation, together with many others, will be on the CNT Associates YouTube site. It's very easy to find on YouTube. Just look for CNT Associates, or we can send you a link for that. A previous one is already on it, but this is obviously the most up-to-date one. If you need any other services related to Shopify from outside of this, and if you're not a member of the Bexley Business Support program, there is a charge for this, and our basic charge is £50 an hour, but it does depend on what support you want us to provide. But if you email us, we will give you a quote. If you can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. And there are our contact details. They are in the chat as well. There's our website address, cntassociates.com. And if you want to join our mailing list, but I presume all of you must be on it already, there's our phone number and our Twitter handle as well. So we've covered a lot of ground. There is time for questions now. If you can stop the share, Sybil, please. And if anybody has got any questions, let's have a look in the chat. Thanks for that, Sonia. Have you got any questions while you're there for Sybil or myself?
Nothing specific, but this is my sort of first time being brave enough to even think about all the bits and bobs you need to do. I've got a WordPress website. How easy would it be to sort of link that with the Shopify, do you think?
Yeah, so that would be easy to do. If you wanted to keep your existing WordPress site and you don't want to migrate it completely over to Shopify, then the best option would be Shopify Lite that we mentioned earlier on. So what you can do with this is you can set up your Shopify account, Shopify Lite account, add your products into there, set up the prices, the images, everything, and you would then generate a piece of code from that. You'd need to place that code into your WordPress site, and then now you would turn your WordPress site into an e-commerce store, because Shopify Lite adds that extra e-commerce functionality to your WordPress site.
So a bit like adding the other sort of widgets that you can get, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent, because I don't want to pay for another domain when I've already got one.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Shopify Lite, you wouldn't need to register a new domain or a new website or anything like that. You can simply reuse your existing one, and then you would it will add that kind of extension to your existing WordPress site.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Has anybody else got any other questions that they want to ask Sybil or myself, indeed? Okay, as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who are Bexley based, that you can get some additional support if you sign up to that program. You have to register via Bexley Council link, which we can send you. As I say, it is a free program for those of you that are based in Bexley. If anybody's got any other inquiries, then please email us and we will try to respond to them about this. As I said earlier, this will go on YouTube and probably on LinkedIn as well, so you will get other chances to view this. There is a lot to take in. We also have a second webinar, which is a pay webinar, which we're probably going to run either later in the summer or in September, depending on demand, which is that is a pay webinar, but we go live on the site and demonstrate some of the key features about that. So I think for those of you who are really interested, it would be well worth the cost for that. We'll be publishing details on our website, and indeed if you're on our mailing list, you get updates, but many of our presentations are free, and we cover a wide range of services. For those of you who have got are still developing the skills or developing your businesses, if you link in with me on LinkedIn, we've recently put Sybil's webinar, Getting Your Business Online for Beginners. It's also on our YouTube channel as well, but that's had a lot of views on LinkedIn as well. So again, it's well worth watching, and it covers all the basics of getting your business online, from getting a domain name to email marketing and a whole range of other features. Again, they are free. That's on our YouTube channel, which is free. If you're going to go on that, please subscribe, because we're putting more and more features on that. And again, please link in with me on LinkedIn, because we do put a lot of information out via LinkedIn, because both C&T and myself have got a lot of followers. We've been on for over 10 years, and it gives access and information about other programs and projects that we are running. Okay then, this is a final chance for anybody who wants to ask any more questions. Is there anything that you want to add, Sybil, to what you said today? You have talked a lot, but if there's anything final you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, just to reiterate, that Shopify does offer a free trial. So I highly recommend trying it out. If it's not for you, then you can just cancel your trial and you've got nothing to lose. So if e-commerce is something that you're thinking about, even if it doesn't have to be a store selling a lot of products, you might just have a few products to begin with. It doesn't matter whether you have many products or just a few. But if you're thinking about selling your products online, then I highly recommend you check it out and explore the platform and see what it has to offer. And yeah, you've got nothing to lose, really.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Sybil. As part of this program, there are a number of other webinars coming up. We do email you if you're on our mailing list regularly with the updates, but I just wanted to highlight with our partners, Future Communities. Next, again, we have mailed out about this, but next Thursday at 2 o'clock, we are running a session called How to Set Up a Creative Business. And we also have a guest presentation from Nikki Sutton, who is a qualified art therapist, and is going to talk about a consortium business model that was used to develop that business, which can be used for any creative business. Indeed, any creative business can use the consortium model. I'm just looking on my screen, and an email has gone out to those of you on the mailing list just now with details of this. We've also got on the 24th of May, we've got a presentation called Support for Women-Led Businesses, which will be led by a woman called Jenny Tomei, who runs a successful business, and there will be a number of other women speakers at that event as well that you can get information and ask questions from, because there will be a number of speakers. There's already some information on who the speakers are on our website, and we may well add others. So I would encourage you to attend that. That's in 3 weeks' time. on the 24th of May. So as you can see, we are providing a wide range of support here at CNT, and in the wider sense as part of the Bexley Business support program, where you can also access free memberships to the Federation of Small Businesses, which I would urge you to consider. That is on the Bexley Council website as well. And also, if you join the program, we can refer you to one of our other partners in the program, Southeast Enterprise, who provide a lot of free digital skills training and support, which is essential to modern business. But again, you have to be a Bexley based or registered business to access that. So we've nicely rounded up the hour now. You can save our details in the chat today, which I'm going to do right now. And I'd like to thank you all for attending today. And as I say, this will be on YouTube and linked in soon if you want to see it again. And we will be sending out a summary copy of the presentation to everybody who attended today. So thank you very much for attending. It's much appreciated, and I hope to see you all again soon. I'd also like to end by thanking Sybil yet again for a very comprehensive presentation which she put together. And we've got a lot of other materials on Shopify, including a set of videos and of course the part 2 of this, the Shopify Live. So thank you for joining us today. It's much appreciated, and I hope to see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.